Steve was well before his own time.
Oh, man.
You watched it once in the
I'm
60s. I swear I'm going to have to use that. Steve, there's a new Daily Post challenge today.
What did you watch in the
Daily
60s?
Post?
An odd trio redux. You have to write a blog post that features a slice of cake, a pair of flip-flops, and someone old and wise.
I'll include a picture of you.
Old and wise.
Madge,
Well, old.
bring me some cake.
Clap, 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 clap.
Really? All I got to do is go down to the retirement center. I'm sure I can figure that one out.
Well, y'all ready?
No?
Okay. Looks like the people in the chat room are ready for us to go.
Okay, let's go.
And I have the recorder on, and we're broadcasting, obviously. And just to make sure everybody can hear these sounds.
This is SQPN, the StarQuest production network.
Could you hear that?
Yes.
A little low, but I can hear it fine.
Okay, let me turn it up. Dun, dun.
You don't want to get any sound levels from me.
This is SQPN, the StarQuest production network, leading the
Is that
way.
better?
Yes.
I don't want to blow everybody out. Okay, let's see. We're 2:33 on the 2nd of August. Yikes.
This is SQPN, the StarQuest production network, leading the way.
You're listening to Catholic Weekend, episode number 233 for the week ending August 2nd, 2014. Hello, I'm your captain, Captain Jeff, in Roswell, Georgia, and joining me this morning is Maria Johnson.
Good morning. Hello, folks.
Hello, hello. And also with us today from the plains of Oklahoma. Oh, no, Steve Nelson, otherwise known as Oklahoma.
Howdy, y'all. Since Angela's not here, I'll do the howdy, y'all.
Okay, enough of that. And last but certainly not least, from the fashionable Buckhead area of Atlanta, Georgia, Sarah, the fashionable Sarah Vapius.
Hello, everybody. I do not have Ebola.
Good. Yeah, I guess we can't. Can we not play that anymore?
I know, it feels a little distasteful right now.
So you Georgians, 150 years ago today, my great-great-grandfather was passing through your bit of countryside, chasing rebels.
Ah, imagine that. Chasing rebels.
We're going to start.
Chased them all the way to the sea?
He was on his way to Decatur, so I think he passed through the Buckhead area, actually.
Ooh, I work down the street from Decatur.
That's where I got my marriage license.
In Decatur.
Yes.
One of my favorite bars is in Decatur.
Wow, it's a common
I don't think my great-great-grandfather had the same social...
No, I've been...
Was he responsible for burning Atlanta?
He personally, no. Actually, in his diary, he mentions that it was a big accident that the fire took place.
Sure.
I'm just telling you, that's what his diary
was out
says.
there smoking, and he accidentally...
Listen, I just watched Gone with the Wind at the Fox Theater in Midtown Atlanta next Sunday. I know the 100% truth, so...
Okay. That documentary.
Yeah.
So,
but real story, I have been watching Ken Burns' documentary on the Civil War, which is a PBS thing.
It's awesome.
It's so good. I never thought I was a documentary person, and then I turned 30, and now I like documentaries.
I know. The older you get, the more you enjoy watching documentaries. Sad.
And I'm like, I'd rather watch a documentary than almost anything else except HGTV.
Or a rom-com.
Well, you
Yeah.
kind
Like that
of
great 60s rom-com, You've
Got
Mail.
mail.
the funny thing about documentaries is the longer you live, the more the documentaries are about your life.
Yes. That's the tragedy.
That's when you stop watching.
That's
So
like
wait.
one of the classics from the 2000s. You know?
So wait, Steve, since you're an expert of the 60s, does that also mean you're an expert of the Civil War?
The 1860s.
1860s. Wow, this
Oh,
devolved
my.
really quickly.
So we start off by putting in our face that your uncle came through and burned Atlanta and killed.
My uncle?
Not your uncle.
Great grandfather.
Well,
great-grandfather, whatever.
Attention
My grandfather's
and
grandfather.
Well,
Whoever.
we did say that Steve was born in the 1860s, so it's very possible it's his uncle.
Might have been his brother, actually.
Mm.
So how you?
Wow.
By the way, I wanted to say publicly that I thought last week's
Don't.
episode was one of the best, even though Maria wasn't on.
Hey,
I really enjoyed it.
I see.
Well, it's the last. Can't remember a time
It
where
was the priests. Yeah, it was good.
where we just had
No,
a
it was
complete
good discussion.
meltdown in the middle of the show.
Yeah, that was
Well, I mean, that's what happens when the priest says that he made out with the Pope.
Wow. I may have to break into the archives and listen to the show.
Oh, you
No,
really
you do
must
need to
listen to it.
It really was good, Maria. It was good.
There was probably 5 minutes of just nothing but laughter because nobody could compose themselves.
You could probably isolate Father Kyle Sanders' audio and get some real quality.
Well, yeah, no, the thing is when he realized what he said, he crawled under the desk.
Is it literally?
Yes.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, anyway, so how y'all been this week, Maria? You doing all right? No, just kind of hanging around, not doing anything?
Oh, that's right. I've been doing absolutely nothing. It's the end of the term. I've got grades due.
Mm-hmm.
So
Busy. But hey, the light at the end of the tunnel, right?
no, it just turns around and starts again.
Oh, well, never mind. Hey, speaking of Ebola and Atlanta, it seems that the two Americans, a missionary and a doctor, a physician, are heading this way. Yay!
Well,
Bring
I
that
think
Ebola
one of
to
them.
Atlanta.
I know. Well, I think one, not both. They don't
think
know
both
which
now.
one. Oh,
No.
really?
I was just listening yesterday to the radio.
Awesome.
The radio. I was
I
listening
don't
to the
have a
radio.
problem. I don't have a problem with this. Everyone's freaking out. It's like outbreak. We're all gonna die. I don't have a problem with this. I don't live that far from Emory and the CDC, and I say give these folks opportunity to maybe survive this deadly disease by bringing them to one of 4 places that exists where they can live in basically a bubble and really run a low risk of infecting other people. And if they don't make it, at least some of the best, finest minds in the world had an opportunity to see this disease live in someone, and maybe this could make a difference in getting rid of the epidemic that's sweeping through all of those countries in Africa right now.
I'd actually be more freaked out about being on a flight with them.
They're doing a private plane, and I read all about it in a great Time article this morning, where they have a special plane that's been built just for this, and they've used this plane before, and it's got this isolation unit in whatever part of the plane they decide, and it's got its own air system, so that even though Ebola is not airborne, they will have its own circulatory air system in that part of the airplane, and everyone will be in full body suits, and so they can choose how many times they interact with the patient. The patient even has a known containment for all of their bodily functions that must occur, which is really what passes Ebola. It's all about bodily functions and fluids. And so it's very fascinating to read all about how they're going to treat these folks as they bring them over, but they can only do one at a time. So the plane is only capable of one person. And it's the technology that we have is absolutely amazing. And I've had so many friends text me, I'm so mad they're bringing Ebola, we're all going to die. And I'm like, well, I work from home. I don't leave the house. So good luck, guys.
Actually, you know what I'm more concerned about? That flesh-eating bacteria that's on the beaches.
Mm.
Yes.
I'm going to Florida next week.
Don't go in the water.
I just, I'm just really worried about the people in Africa that are having to deal with this because, they don't have the infrastructure for this, and that's a scary, scary disease.
Right, and if we bring one or two people here and have the opportunity to study it and maybe find a cure, because we took the chance to bring a couple of people home to some great hospitals, I think it's worth it, really.
I hope so.
So all this hemming and hawing is, I just don't understand. They say, well, they knew what risk they took when they went to Africa to become missionaries. Well, sure, absolutely, but does that mean we have to treat them as subhuman and can't bring them home and help them and help this disease in a bigger way?
No, it doesn't mean that. So, yeah, you're right. You're right. And I think that it's overblown about how contagious, as you mentioned.
Yeah. Everyone. I joked with a friend this morning that she thinks there's going to be a run on hand sanitizer, and I'm like, that doesn't do any good.
I like that. Doesn't do any good. You missed the thumbs up from Sarah if you're listening on the audio. Okay, well, how have you been, Sarah?
Oh, pretty good. Just a busy week at work. I'm going to Brazil a week from today for work, and so I'm having to cram a lot of stuff in since basically for that whole week I won't be able to take any of my usual meetings. And so all of my customers have decided they want to speak with me prior to leaving, so it's a little bit crazy. But yeah, I'm looking forward
popular.
to... No. But I'm looking forward to going to Brazil, and I'll be there on the Feast of the Assumption, and have plotted out my mass for that day, which is going to be at the cathedral in Sao Paulo. So it should be really fun.
And to remind everybody, that's the 15th of August.
Yeah. So if you have not yet decided your schedule for Friday, August 15th, go ahead and do that because it's a holy day of obligation.
Yeah, and I guess, very soon if you want to do a novena, or is it already too late?
Probably too late.
No, I think, 9 days, it's only the 2nd. You still have time.
Oh, yeah.
A novena.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you could totally start that, because it's not this Friday, it's the Friday the 15th.
13 more days or something. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent. And Steve, how have things been in Oklahoma?
Oh, well, we've had another cool batch of weather and rain and everything. It was 65 degrees this morning in August, and we're kind of wandering around in a fog because we don't know what to do with this kind of weather.
Yeah,
but it's nice. It's very, very nice. Everybody's going outside.
Coming into Atlanta yesterday, flying in and looking at, we always get the weather, of course, because that's an important thing for us to pay attention to when we're flying airplanes. And it was like almost noon and 72 degrees in Atlanta. Thinking, what? That's amazing.
We've been enjoying our porch quite a bit.
It's
not
has been a beautiful, beautiful summer here in Atlanta.
I love the rain. It's when it rains, it keeps it cool. I'm telling you, everyone's like, I hate when it rains in the summer. I love it because the temperatures do not go into the 90s, which is the danger, horrible zone.
Yeah, I like the rain.
There's some other news from Oklahoma if you'd like to hear.
Go ahead.
You might have heard a few weeks ago that there's an organization, a satanic organization, that's planning on holding one of those black mass things in Oklahoma City. Have you heard about this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we talked about it on the show.
Well, our Bishop Slattery of Diocese of Tulsa, he just a couple of days ago, he sent a letter to basically everybody in the diocese on his plan or his suggestions on how to counter this. And part of it is it involves a novena leading up to the Feast of the Assumption. But something that I thought was interesting, and I've never heard this before, he's asking for a 9-day period of fasting from meat for all Catholics in Oklahoma.
Wow.
Which I thought was interesting. And so an extraordinary period of prayer and penance is what he's calling it. And a lot of prayer and fasting, praying for the cancellation of this event, which is supposed to take place in September.
So when is this 9-day period of fasting and abstinence going to happen? Right leading up to that?
Starts August 6th, through the 14th is the fasting, and then the Feast of the Assumption's on the 15th.
Okay.
So there's going to be special prayers. All the priests are being asked to pray a particular prayer from Pope Leo the 13th, sort of a exorcism prayer.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so if all this prayer and fasting doesn't end with the cancellation of this event, then there's going to be Eucharistic progressions and things at the time that this blasphemy in Oklahoma City is supposed to take place. So
now, some people would say that we're giving it too much attention, and that is actually counterproductive. What would you say to that?
well, I mean, this is a direct attack on the Eucharist. It's a direct attack on the Catholic faith, and I don't think you can ignore it.
I agree. Okay.
And I think it's a great opportunity for the Catholics to stand up for their faith, you know, because you go to Mass every weekend and you take the Eucharist and you profess that it's real, and something like this is a chance to say, all right, put your feet on the ground and prove it. Prove this. This is what you do every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to be there if I can. I'll be doing it.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, I mean, when do you stop? I mean, gosh, we're being attacked from every direction, you know. So when do you? This is a chance to do something.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of standing up for something, we stand up to exchange the right of peace.
Nice. I love Jeff's transitions. Like, I think it's my favorite part about this whole entire shtick is like, oh hey, like, oh, I'm gonna try to make these like topics that don't really go together, and I'm gonna use duct tape and super glue and.
So what I should do is something like do some kind of like a musical interlude or bumper or something like that.
Like Steve playing the harmonica.
Yeah, play a little riff on the harmonica for us there, Steve.
He's turning bright red for those not watching.
And speaking of...
It's kind of like the Wayne's World where they go doo-doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo-doo.
There's a little bit of guitar.
Perfect.
For you. The Congregation for Divine Worship in the Vatican day before yesterday, July 31st, in a recent, no, this is when they put this news article out. Never mind. Well, sometime in the not too distant past, in a recent circular letter, announced the placement of the sign of peace within Mass will not change. I guess there have been some people saying, hey, let's take this part of the Mass and put it somewhere else. And some even said, let's just get rid of it altogether. But the Congregation for Divine Worship has said that where it is in the Mass will not change, though it suggested several ways the rite could be performed with greater dignity. And basically, they said that there have been a lot of abuses regarding that, and it is their strong recommendation. Now, it's not something that they've actually said, this is the new rule, but this is just something that they want to suggest that people consider following. And talking about the fact that that you should not be traveling all over your church to, shake people's hands and give them hugs and all that kind of stuff. Just, it should be a little bit more, I don't know, reserved or
reverent.
Reverent, yeah. And you've been to the places where I've seen priests come down off of the sanctuary and go throughout the whole darn audience. And that might be
they say shame on you, priest. They don't want they don't want priests to come down off the altar anymore, which makes perfect sense. I mean, the idea of that, I believe, is just to be able to quickly say hi to maybe the person who's in front of you, maybe the person who's behind you, maybe the person who's to your left, and so just a couple of seconds just to sort of wave or shake hands, if you will, and and then remember that up on the altar during all of this is the Eucharist. And I think that's what often gets lost is, oh, hi, this is like social time. We're going to tell you how good your hair looks, and we're going to talk about how we haven't seen you in a while, and how's the family. This is not that moment. This moment is just to welcome your neighbors in the same way that you're about to welcome Jesus into your body.
Exactly. It's just almost it takes you away from it's one of the most beautiful parts of the Mass in the liturgy of the Eucharist, and all of a sudden it's just like a huge interruption. And then, okay, now everybody get really, really reverent again and think about what you're doing before you eat Christ's body and drink his blood. Sometimes it's jarring, and I think that's what the Vatican is trying to say.
I think there's also a cultural aspect of this, because other places I've been, this doesn't happen. I mean, you go, Papua New Guinea, people might, shake hands with one person and that's it. Or even in Central America, it wasn't very elaborate. In Europe, I saw a lot different, lots of different things, but Americans are the worst that I've seen, where they, it turns into a gab session, and I've never been comfortable with that.
It's an optional part of the Mass. Did you guys all know that?
Mm-hmm.
The priest can opt to skip it. I think that when I was in Rome earlier this year, there were a couple churches that we went to, and I want to say St. Paul Outside the Walls was one of them, where they skipped it altogether, which is fine. I mean, that's totally, it's part of the rite where you can opt in, opt out. But I just remember thinking, like, oh, where'd that go?
I'm missing something here. I was really hoping to shake that guy's hand.
Yeah, and say hello to the people who don't even speak English. Hello!
Well, they skip it here a lot of times in the winter when there's a flu outbreak or something. Mm-hmm. And they just say, we're not doing that because we don't want anybody to get sick. Yeah, I saw that. Did you see that? How somebody did a study on germ transmission and the difference between shaking hands and high five and fist bumps. And if you're old germaphobe, fist bump is the way to go. It's like 20% less. Or only 20% of the germs of a handshake get transferred.
Okay, monk.
Fist bump. Huh?
No, it was fascinating. I read it too. It was all over the Twitters.
Well, if you were my aunt, I mean, she would always shake hands with the neighbors around her, and then out come the wet wipes. Right there in Mass.
I'm quickly stating that you are gross.
It's like going, ew.
Yep.
Well, speaking of this, this is one of the gestures of the Mass, because when we go to Mass, we are involved more than just with our minds, but we're involved physically and mentally and emotionally, and so we do a lot of things. For those of you listening or watching that are not Catholic and have never been to a Mass, shame on you. You should go. Find a Catholic and go this weekend.
Well, not shame on you, but just...
Well, not shame.
You're never going to buy tickets if you say that.
Just find a Catholic Mass and go.
Well, that came out entirely wrong. I know that your intent is very good.
Well, shame on you for saying that.
Okay.
Shame on me for saying that. Shame on us all. But my point, or one of the things I wanted to talk about is one of those...
And there is a point.
There is a point here, somewhere. Wait, hang on. I fell on the floor, I think. The holding, not the shaking of the hand, the holding of the hands during the Our Father, that's kind of a controversial thing, and that used to be something that really kind of bothered me when people were doing it, and now I've kind of grown a little bit more, mature in my attitude about it, and no, I'm not growing hippie. I still don't do that, and one of the reasons why I don't like it is because it kind of takes me out of this place that I'm in with all the beautiful sacred prayers and everything else, and then people are paying attention to who's holding whose hands, and then we're raising up our hands toward the what is it called, the embolism or something like that at the end. Is that the right?
No.
But it's something like it's a word just like that. Somebody help me in the chat room.
Please, someone help.
I just got an embolism.
whatever that is. But anyway, the part where we say, for the power, the kingdom, the power, the glory are yours for now and forever, and then everybody, let's go, and then everybody is not paying attention at all to one of the most beautiful prayers in the Mass. Right after the very end of that prayer is a beautiful thing that the priest is praying, saying, God, don't look on the sins of the church, but on our faith. In other words, we're a bunch of sinners. We keep screwing up, and don't pay attention to that, but pay attention to our faith.
Right.
But no one's listening to that. They're missing it because they're thinking about getting their little towelette out to wipe their hands off or something.
Jeff, it's interesting that you bring this up because I've actually talked to several of my priest friends about the holding hands thing because I'm not a hand holder during the Our Father, so if you sit next to me, don't try. I won't do it. And so instead of people holding hands, a lot of people are starting to put their hands out in like this outward fashion, the way that the priest is doing it. That is also a no-no.
Right. That gesture is reserved to the priest. If you look on the altar, the deacons are forbidden from that.
Correct. You as a Catholic are supposed to have your hands folded in front of you in prayer, not as your hands outward. The priest is reserved for that, as Steve mentioned. So, I think it's important for us to kind of check ourselves on our postures and how we hold ourselves during Mass and the things that we're doing, because it's important. It's the way that you're inviting the Holy Spirit in to work inside you, and these things matter. Like, you can just say, oh, well, it doesn't matter. It does matter. It matters how you hold yourself and what you're inviting in to your whole prayer life in that way.
Mm-hmm.
I think somewhere along the line, a lot of people got this idea that whatever the priest and the deacons are doing up in the sanctuary is something that we're all supposed to mimic. And I don't know where they got that idea, but the more people started doing it, the more people thought, oh, this is what we're supposed to do. And I don't think they know that they're not.
60s.
Yeah.
No, a lot of this stuff, I remember some of this stuff creeping in the early 70s, when the Mass started to change. And the music became more folksy, and seemed like there was an effort to make the Mass more of a communal thing, and there was, I remember seeing the priest joining hands and everybody in the congregation in almost like a big circle, kind of thing. And
have you ever been to a Life Teen Mass when they would bring the kids up onto the altar during the consecration?
Yeah.
Well, they're not allowed to do that anymore.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. So I don't know, all this stuff kind of
it just
crept in little by little, and it seems normal. And there's probably a lot of people that listen to this saying, well, what's wrong with holding hands? What's wrong with, doing that kind of stuff? And I don't know if saying wrong is the right word.
No,
but
it's not wrong. It's just not appropriate.
Yeah.
It's not how we're encouraged. Like I said, posture matters, and so they're encouraging the posture of, folding your hands and entering into a deep moment of prayer with you and Jesus, during all of this, led obviously by the priest on the altar, but ultimately this is about you spending time with Jesus.
Mm-hmm. Occasionally I'll visit a parish and I'll walk in, I'll sit down, and I notice that they don't have kneelers. And my heart just kind of drops, and it's like,
yeah.
Dude, I have heard that before. I have never experienced that.
I have. When I was, a brand new Catholic, I would go to some of these churches that didn't have kneelers, and this one in particular that I went to had a stone floor, and I kneeled anyway. I'm thinking, well, it doesn't say anywhere that you're not supposed to kneel if you don't have a kneeler.
Right. I've done that too.
So were people kneeling, or did they stay standing? Did they sit?
Most everybody were just sitting, instead of or standing. Not.
We should invite Father Kyle Schnippel on the show to talk about this topic, because his new church that he's been assigned to as parochial administrator, whatever, pastor but not pastor, does not have kneelers.
Wow.
And so I think it'd be really interesting to have him on, so that I don't want to give away his whole plan of attack, but
plan of attack.
but I think it would be really interesting to have him on to come talk about this, of going into a community where they don't have kneelers. So if we want to, I think that would be really fun. Just saying.
Should do that. Okay, give him a call right now.
He's grocery shopping. Sorry, people.
By the way, I did a little bit of research, and the word is not embolism, but something that sounds just like it. Doxology.
Yes, there you go. Embolism doxology.
Thank you
Oh,
In
very
the
much.
word,
wow.
world of homophones.
I'm now vindicated.
How did you find it? Did you Google really hard?
Embolism.
No, I didn't Google really hard because that would get something that would. Oh, never mind. I Googled. Let's see. The end of Lord's Prayer. That's what I Googled. And then
Yes, the doxology.
And then I got who added the doxology on EWTN.com.
You know, I have to admit to an uncharitable practice of mine is when I go to Mass, and we don't say the Lord's Prayer with the doxology tacked onto the end automatically. So there's always a little bit of my brain that's waiting to hear if there are any Protestants in the congregation.
Protestant.
Keep going.
Especially at weddings and stuff, and it's like, nobody warned them, and they're gonna you just gave yourself away.
I know. I went to a wedding a couple months ago when I thought that I was sitting behind some people that were not Catholic, but I kept trying to decide. I'm like, well, maybe they go to a different kind of church. I'm 99% sure they're not Catholic. And then the Our Father comes, and then they start spitting it out, and I'm like, yep, not Catholic.
She turns around. I knew it.
Well, I really wanted to do that, but I thought that'd be inappropriate. But I was
I know. I always feel bad when I do that, but it's like I can't stop myself.
I chuckle.
Trying not to think about something makes you think about it.
I'm so sorry, God, but I chuckle every time there's a Protestant in the crowd and they keep going. I laugh. It's just but the same thing would be for me if I went to a Protestant church and I wasn't saying it, and I look around, I'm like, oh, I'm the only one not saying it. Blah 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 blah.
Well,
A lot of people think that is actually part of the prayer. They think that was actually what Christ told his disciples to pray, and it wasn't. That was something that was added in the margins or whatever by the scribes, making copies of the Bible, and then over time it somehow became incorporated into the Scripture. And
I was unaware of that.
Yeah.
So how do you treat the people? How do you treat the people who extend their hands to you? During,
good question. With disdain.
I just fold my hands and put my head down and close my eyes, and I'm like, then they'll know that I won't, even if you stick your hand out, I can't see you.
Right.
Much effort.
I go back and forth on that because I don't want to.
He's a people pleaser.
Well, no, it's not that. It seems like it distracts me, because if I don't, and their hands are in my face, and then I'm distracted from the prayer. I'm thinking about that instead of the prayer, and so sometimes I do it even though I'd rather not.
Yeah, I do the same, but every once in a while, you get the aggressive person that grabs you, that grabs for your hand, or looks at you like, I'm judging you, what are you doing?
Well, if it's a child, I'm more likely to do it.
Yeah.
If there's a little kid next to me,
sweet.
It's like, well, I don't want to give him a bad impression of Mass or anything, so I'll do it more frequently if it's a child.
I do what Sarah does. I just, before anybody has any idea of, trying to reach for my hand, I have my hands, together and my head bowed. And so
I'm going to sit next to you in Mass and be the aggressive person.
Oh, I can't wait.
Oh, yeah, we should have a Catholic weekend Mass get together every once in a while.
No, it's not a good idea.
Especially the people on this show, we need to have Mass together. Frequently.
Jeff.
I'll bring the wipes.
Perfect. Hey, Jeff, just the other day, I opened up my Timehop app on my phone, and it let me know that just about 2 years ago, I accidentally ran into you at Christ the King at Mass, and I wrote about how glorious it was to see you.
Oh, now you've changed your mind about that.
Well, it
Glorious.
depends on the day.
That's a word I would use.
Glorious. Timehop app. I'm not sure I've ever heard of that.
Oh, this app is the jam. So it lets you relive your day, that you posted on social media.
Most of the time, I'm just happy it's over.
So it'll tell you what you tweeted on this day 1 year to 7 years ago, and it'll tell you where you checked in on Foursquare, what you posted on Facebook, any pictures that you took. It's awesome.
You still do Foursquare? I'm kind of done with Foursquare.
I don't know. It's habit. It's ingrained at this point. So I
don't
might
like the
check
fact
in
that
when
they
I go
separated-
places.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that they separated the check-ins away from Foursquare.
Well, they're taking Foursquare to be more like Yelp, and so they want to be Yelp competition, which I get. So, they're doing like what Facebook is doing, which is separating all the apps out. So this week, Facebook announced officially that if you don't have Messenger downloaded, Facebook Messenger, then you won't be able to Facebook message anymore from your mobile device. And I say, good, because I hate Facebook messages.
Who does use that?
I've been thinking about taking it off my mobile devices just because of the distraction it causes me.
Yeah.
Except when I'm traveling, it's really I have fun whining about my travel experiences on Facebook and Twitter.
So they're going to take Facebook Messenger away from the Facebook app. Oh.
Yeah, it's teenagers who use that primarily. Teenagers aren't really using anything but texting or some of these like Snapchat like disappearing things, or even like WhatsApp, which Facebook bought, which is a group texting app, but it's not actually texting, and so it's through the app, so parents can't really like see that any activity is going on, and then so teenagers they use Facebook Messenger a lot to communicate with each other. So that's really who's using it, not adults. At least I don't. And when someone sends me a Facebook message, I'm usually pretty grumpy about it. I'm like, this means I have to answer.
Another good reason not to give your children phones.
Wow. Oh gosh, how difficult is that?
Oh, I don't know. They all seem to have them.
Yeah.
Have you looked for a public phone anytime lately?
Yeah, they're hard to find. I've seen them though in the airports. So some airports actually still have public phones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Daddy, what's that? Yeah. All right. Let's do this. Take a little break. Puxatani Phil. Speaking of reliving a day, right? Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
See how
I got you.
I tied that all together?
Yeah, that's great.
Thanks. Okay. Well, thank you for watching Catholic Weekend, one of the great, it's a SQPN show, and that we do every week, and of course you know that because you're here and you're listening. And just wanted to say, if you want to help support the StarQuest Production Network with our efforts in the new evangelization, doing shows like this and the great shows, all the Secrets series, and the fantastic programming like The Break and Geek Priest, etc., plus all of our great affiliate programming, you can help us by becoming a friend of SQPN. And you can do that by heading over to sqpn.com, the website of the StarQuest Production Network, and look for Become a Friend of SQPN, or you can just go to sqpn.com/donate, and you'll see the same page where you can click various levels of donation, make a monthly donation. It's painless. And again, it really, really helps our effort in the new evangelization at sqpn.com. Now, if you want to do something that's a little bit less painless, you do a lot of shopping on Amazon, don't you? I do. You can click on the Amazon banner on the website, and any purchase that you make, a portion of that purchase will go to sqpn.com. And finally, if you're in the market for looking for web hosting, you want to start a new WordPress blog or a podcast or whatever, you want to sell stuff on the internet, and you're looking for web hosting, we can highly recommend our partner BlueHost. Again, go to sqpn.com, click on the BlueHost banner, and we'll get a nice, generous fee or something. What would you call that? A nice,
I would call it a doxology.
a doxology, an embolism from...
Is it a commission, maybe? Perhaps?
Yeah, whatever. You know,
A
you know what I'm trying
kickback.
to say. A kickback. That's
Hey,
it.
Jeff, how long does it take for those kickbacks to show up?
I think you have to be with the hosting service for like 3 months.
Oh, okay. So maybe you would have gotten mine about now.
I don't know. I don't see anything that we get. So
Well, that's too bad, because I've used BlueHost, and I just switched a couple months ago, and for those of you that are not on it, I love it. Great experience, awesome customer service. You can call them up, you can chat them online. No regrets about switching over there.
Excellent. So there you go. And I think Steve uses BlueHost. Yes? No? Okay. Steve's not listening.
I think
Is Steve
Steve's frozen.
I thought he was just giving me like the evil eye or something.
I did too, but I think Steve's frozen.
Hey, Steve.
For those that are not watching on the Google Hangout, literally it's just Steve sitting there with like just regular like nose like resting face, and we just thought that he was like
disappeared.
what you talking about, Jeff?
It was the perfect judgy face.
It was very judgy. I will not hold your hand during the Our Father.
I do judge you.
He judges you all the time.
That's fun.
Whatever.
Judge ye, lest ye be judged.
Hey, have you guys seen? Honestly, I didn't really know what this was all about until Lynn mentioned it in our doc but I noticed a lot of people were, you know how I am with social media, like an idiot. But
Okay.
How was that different from everything else?
Shut up. There's this symbol that looks like a Arab. What is it like?
The N.
Oh.
Are you talking about the N?
It does. It looks like a U with a dot, but it's an N, I guess, in Arabic.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started seeing this all these different places. I'm going, what is this? And until Lynn pointed me in the right direction, this is apparently an Arabic Twitter avatar that illustrates #WeAreN, solidarity with the Iraqi Christians. So everything is all hunky-dory over here, and we have to worry about whether or not we are getting too boisterous with our sharing of the sign of peace in our masses. And other parts of the world, well, things aren't going so swimmingly, such as what's happening to the Christians in Iraq, when the group, the terrorist organization ISIS, I guess I forgot what that stands for, but they're basically saying if you're Christian, convert to Islam, pay us a fee, or the third choice is we kill you.
Well, that symbol is because they're marking Christians with that symbol. So it's reminiscent of the yellow Star of David during the Third Reich. But yeah, so that symbol is actually being put on places to single out the Christians. So it's much more than just a symbol on Twitter. It's actually as a reaction to the use of that symbol.
I saw a picture where a church had painted that. A Catholic parish had painted that on the doors. Yeah. I think we should adopt that, actually. But showing solidarity is a little different than actually being in solidarity. I think that's another thing we need to take active action.
What can we do, though? I mean, other than, going over to Iraq and confronting these people, which, of course, you'd be crazy to do because it wouldn't be long before you would be experiencing your eternal life.
Well, there's
prayer
a lot of refugees.
And fasting.
Yeah. Prayer, fasting. There's also refugee organizations that could use support. Catholic Relief Services in particular.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because a lot of these people are fleeing into the Kurdistan region and into Syria and wherever they can get away.
And somewhat kind of related to this whole thing, in Sudan, you remember we were talking about this on earlier episodes of Catholic Weekend. Miriam Ibrahim, the Christian that was threatened with execution in Sudan, that the high court there had basically said no, even though Islamic law says that you cannot marry a Christian, or you have to be the religion of your father or something like that. And she had converted to Christianity. She married Daniel Wani, who was a Christian, and so she was imprisoned, and then they were going to execute her, and then I think a high court finally said no, we're not going to execute you. But then as she was trying to leave, I think that she was apprehended and arrested again. Well, good news, she was finally released. She ended up making it to the embassy, the embolism over there. No, and eventually she made it out of Sudan, and she is now in the United States. And So that's good news. In fact, this article I'm looking at here, I guess she flew from Rome to Philadelphia with her husband and her 2 children, and she's en route to the New Hampshire city of Manchester, where her husband has family and where they will make their new home. And then the mayor of Philadelphia was there, of course, saying that Ibrahim she should be remembered with others who stood so we could be free, comparing her to Rosa Parks, who became a symbol of the U.S. civil rights movement. So anyway, so I thought I'd mention that she's in safety now, and she's not going to be executed. And
I bet she's not really in New Hampshire.
Maybe not.
I would tell people I'm going one place and go to another, because there would be people that would not want her to be safe.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, okay. That's all the news I have that I thought we could talk about on today's show. So perhaps this would be a good time for me to find my sound application and play this. All right. I think Lynn is saying in the chat room that she says, I think it's inaccurate to say she converted to Christianity because she was raised as a Christian. Yeah, I guess her mom was an Orthodox Christian and her father was Islamic, and I guess according to their law, you must be the religion of your father or something like that. So, but you're right. I mean, she has been living her life as a Christian all along. Okay, so who would like to go first with their pick of the week? I'm going to go last because I don't have one.
I'll go first. Oh, whatever.
Oh, you go first. I think I've gone first a couple of times. So
okay, well, mine's pretty bad, but you guys can enjoy it regardless. So I recently discovered Amazon Prime Pantry. And so you can shop for like basic pantry kind of items, not like fresh fruits and vegetables and things, but through Amazon, which I think is really cool to be able to do that. So I have my first order actually coming tomorrow, which I thought was really crazy because I'm like, wait, it's a Sunday. But I forgot that Amazon has a deal now with the United States Postal Service that they now deliver on Sundays. So, I could
the
order.
The Postal Service doesn't deliver on Sunday.
But they do for Amazon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Boy, somebody's desperate for some money, huh?
Yeah.
So you can order some pretty basic stuff on this, and I just thought it was really cool. And you can use your links through the SQPN page to be able to support SQPN in the effort. But just kind of nice to be able to buy some things in there. Some even cheaper. I priced it out compared to what I pay at the grocery store, and things are cheaper. And it'd be really nice to just have things show up. So.
That is cool. So, like, what kind of stuff? Like fruit and vegetables and.
It's canned goods or nothing fresh. So things that would be on the aisles in the grocery store. So things like paper towels, paper goods, cleaning supplies, canned soup,
Gotcha.
herbs and spices like pasta, all kinds of I guess will be considered like dry goods, things like that. So.
Okay. Or staples or whatever you want.
Staples, yeah. Pantry items.
Pantry items. Oh, hey, that's why.
I mean.
Got it.
Wow.
Otherwise, it would be Amazon.com/dairy or.
Right. Well, they do have
counter.
Amazon Fresh or something like that, but it's only available, I think, in Seattle, San Francisco, and some other hip West Coast city. So, yeah. Amazon's really, I think they're doing some really innovative things, and we'll see what happens.
And that's great, and good point about either making that bookmark so that every time you go to Amazon it supports SQPN, or heading over to SQPN.com because you want to visit there occasionally anyway to see what's going on there at our website, and then you click on that Amazon thing and do your shopping.
Yeah, so I just thought it was really nice and really cool. And then also there's a new app that came out this week for if you want to buy things from like a Kroger or even a Costco, if you don't have a Costco membership, there is a service called Instacart that just recently came out, and they'll deliver groceries to you within, I think, 1 or 2 hours of you ordering it. So they've got people that are basically errand runners, and they'll do all of your shopping for you. I know here in Atlanta it's Kroger, Costco, Whole Foods, and there's something else. So I think it's really cool, all these new innovations coming out to help people out that might be busy, but really still want to have access to good fresh food. So
Now, how do they know you're a Costco member? What if you say go?
You
to
are
Costco
not. You do not have to be a Costco member.
What?
So that's kind of like a really cool perk is they'll go to Costco for you and you don't have to be a Costco member.
And you
Yeah.
still get the Costco pricing?
Correct.
Well, you probably
Yeah,
pay
but you're
premium
paying a
for the-
premium. There you go.
for the runner.
Yeah, that's true.
You pay a $5 delivery fee.
Hmm.
So I want you to bring home the sofa and a sectional and your $5.
Yeah, it probably doesn't work that way.
No, probably not.
Probably need to tip the guy.
Can you get
too.
one of those guys to go over there during that time of day when they have all the free samples?
Yeah, can you bring me home all the
Bring home a couple of those free samples. My wife says that I always enjoy going to Costco because it's basically lunch.
You know who also says that? Matt Swaim of the Sunrise Morning Show. Matt Swaim will post on Twitter frequently when he goes to either Costco or the grocery store or one of those when it's like prime time snack time, and he's like, going shopping / eating lunch for free.
I love it. Okay, good picks. Thank you, Sarah. Steve, you're next.
My pick of the week. It's a video I found this morning on Facebook, and it's a cool thing. There's an organization out there, and I can't remember exactly what it is, but it has the initials CNA, and it's appears to be an international language school. And what they do is they use the internet to pair up students who are trying to learn English with people who live in retirement centers so that they can carry on conversations. So it's a really cool video. I'll put a link. I'll send a link to it. But it shows these kids in Brazil that are, native Portuguese speakers learning English, and it pairs them up with people in retirement centers, and they just carry on conversations and share life, and practice their English together. And so it's really great because it gives the people in those retirement centers, someone to talk to. Isn't that great?
That is great.
I want to do it.
They're very lonely people.
Oh, you have to watch the video. I cried.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't take anything to make me cry these days, but I was just like, oh.
Yeah, when I talk with Maria, she just starts crying.
Because she's looking at your face.
I know. Oh, bless your heart.
Oh, the Southern, bless your heart.
Yeah. Bless your heart. He's dumber than dirt. Bless your heart.
You have a good day, hon.
Oh, bless your little heart.
Maria, do you have any picks for us?
I do. I have a delightful pick from my friend Margaret Rose Reilly. I love her last name. She's really good. And she has a good column over at pathos.com called Morning Rose Prayer Gardens. And Margaret is a master gardener. So she writes about gardening and beautiful things, but also, about the faith in a lovely way. And this post called Feed Me Now drew me in because it had a little bluebird on it. But the truth is that it struck home. And it's a little bit about what we were talking about earlier on the show. She talks about how when you go to Mass, sometimes you're distracted by all of the things that really don't need to be distracting you, like whether or not you think the deacon is being overly holy.
Overly holy.
I have the same experience as she talks about in there, that we have a deacon who bless his heart, and all the important parts that he thinks are supposed to be really holy, he's just over the top.
Oh.
And it distracts me, and I'm like, shame
Yeah.
on me, shame on me. Why am I doing this?
Shame on you.
Shame. Anyway, it's a good article. Check it out. It's called Feed Me Now, about focusing on what's really the point of that Mass.
Exactly. Excellent. Well, you know what? I actually now have two picks. Speaking of great writers, and I mentioned that I had lunch with Tiffany, and I don't know if any of you met her at the CNMC last October in Boston, but
Hey, Tiffany.
yeah, Catholic librarian. She has a blog, Life of a Catholic Librarian. She's a fantastic writer. She's funny, and she does different things during the week, and she's a a librarian at a university, and she's also a lawyer. She was a lawyer, and anyway, great blog. So I just want to put a plug in for that. And you know me, I don't really read blogs, but I always enjoy reading what she has penned. And the other thing that I wanted to mention is something that I use all the time. I could live without it, but it'd be very difficult to do my show prep. Of course, I don't do any show prep for this show, but for my Airline Pilot Guy show, it's Evernote. And I don't know how many of you here use Evernote, but I mean, it's amazing. You can put it on every device you have, every platform. You're looking at something and you go, oh, I want to remember to talk about this. You hit the little button to clip it. It just magically syncs between everything flawlessly. And that's the way I organize my thoughts and my what I'm going to talk about during the show. So I thought I'd just mention that, Evernote, at evernote.com, and it's free. And there is a paid thing to get more storage and that kind of thing. And I pay them the yearly thing just because, not that I need the space, it's just because I love the product, the service so much that I don't want them to ever go away. So that's why I paid
Jeff, did you know they have another application that they recently bought called Sketch?
Mm-hmm.
And I, for work, I use Sketch all the time. It's just an awesome application. So it allows you to take screenshots, but you get to decide what part of the screen you want to capture. And then you can save it up in the cloud, and they give you a link. And so you can share that link to people. And, since I work in software, we're always wanting to share, like, how our settings are set up and pictures and things with customers. So it's truly a lifesaver. So if you are a person that does a lot of screenshotting, Evernote has this great Sketch software, too, and it all saves in the cloud, and you can access it from all your devices. So, just to add on to that.
And you can mark it up, right?
Yeah, you can write on it and put arrows and draw on it. I mean, it's like really, really cool. And it's also good, if you want to take screenshots of Jeff on the podcast, you could draw a mustache or things on there and share with everybody.
Thank you. That's a nice suggestion.
He already has a mustache.
A bigger mustache.
Bigger.
With curls.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I've started using Evernote the last few months, and it's become indispensable. And I also use, there's another app that is called Penultimate,
mm-hmm.
and it's if you have a tablet, you can handwrite notes and incorporate them into Evernote, and they're searchable that way.
It's an amazing application / service or whatever you want to call it. And it's interesting. I always enjoy hearing other people and how they use it, because everybody seems to use it in different ways. And for me, it's just like not strictly, but mostly the way that I have my email, my feedback email automatically forwards to my Evernote and goes into this one inbox. And so it's like, boom, it's right there. And even audio files. A lot of times I'll just, somebody will send me some audio feedback, and it's already there right in my Evernote note, and I just hit the play button, and it starts playing. It's just, it's really, really cool. So check it out if you haven't yet. It's free. And so those are my 2 picks of the week. And looks like it's time for us to wrap up this thing. So Maria Johnson, another cup of coffee, BegoJohnson.com.
That's right. I started writing again. What a surprise!
Yeah. Speaking of wonderful writers and writing, you have to check out Maria's wonderful word. And have you been doing any more poetry?
I haven't done any poetry. I actually started playing around with the Daily Post, which is a blog that puts a prompt out every day. Mm-hmm. And so I wrote one earlier in the week. And I was telling Steve about it, that I think I'm going to do the trio challenge today, which is to write a post and see if I can incorporate a slice of cake, flip-flops, and a wise old person. So
is this like fiction?
No, it can be any genre, anything you want. You just have to do those 3 things.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been kind of slacking off on my photos lately. I've been so busy, I haven't been able to go out and do any of my own challenges or the ones on WordPress.com.
Did you post a new one yesterday? Or
no, I just realized. I looked at the calendar and went, it's the 2nd. Oh my gosh, I missed it again.
Well, Steve, what are you talking about? Do you have a blog?
I do. I have a blog at everythingesteban.com. And it's been a bit of a struggle the last month or so because there's so much going on right now. All kinds of decisions to make and things just going on that I haven't done my job.
And if you want to read more about Steve's uncle, who was in the Civil War.
In the 1960s.
His great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather. I don't know how many greats are supposed to be in there, but he lived a long time ago. Oh, thank you. But that's also there, available for your perusal at everything.
Yeah, there's a separate blog for my great-great-grandfather, Charles F. Nelson, and his experiences as a member of the 12th Indiana Volunteer Regiment during the Civil War. You can find the link on Everything is Davon. Look at under the tab Other Blogs.
Your history stuff is really fascinating. That's a really neat thing to go look at. Don't make fun of that one. I'll make fun of the other stuff.
And Sarah has the Catholic Drinky blog. How are you?
Sort of.
Sort of.
I have half of a blog post written that I was going to publish on Thursday. So it's going to be August drink of the, or I guess yesterday. Today's Saturday. It's going to be August's drink of the month, and I'm pretty excited about it, and I'm going to push it out here in a couple of minutes. I'm just going to crank it out, finish it, and I'm actually going to have one of these drinks tonight, so I'm really excited about it.
So don't tell us what it is. If anybody's interested in what Sarah is going to be drinking, what the drink of the month is for August, then head over to CatholicDrinky.com.
And if you have any suggestions, you have a particular recipe that you think is unique for a drink that you make, whether it's one of your favorite beers or it's a wine you really like, if it's a cocktail that you came up with, send me the recipe. I am more than happy to pick it and feature it as one of my drinks of the month. So would love for you guys. I've decided I'm going to start doing this. I did it 1 month, and then it's been a couple months. But really want to make an effort to have this drink of the month and make it seasonal and appropriate. So, come join the fun, make some suggestions, and I'd love to hear from you.
I'm guessing, does your drink of the month of August have something to do with maybe tropical or a blender? Is that necessary?
No, it is not blended.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
We'll have to just check out and see what she's up to.
Yes.
Okay, CatholicDrinky.com. And if you're interested in aviation at all, I do a little podcast called Airline Pilot Guy, and you can check that out at airlinepilotguy.com or catholicpilot.com. And that is it. Let's see, this week, anything in the liturgical calendar? Oh, I still have July on my calendar. There, let me see here. So, you guys sing or something while I'm doing this.
La, la, la.
Okay, this week we have St. John Vianney, priest. His feast day is a Monday. And the Transfiguration of the Lord is Wednesday the 6th. And St. Dominic, priest, is a celebration on Friday. Very cool. All right. That's all I can find. Anything else? All right. Well, thanks for showing up, everybody, and especially those of you who are joining us live in the chat room. If you're interested in taking part in all the fun and festivity every Saturday morning, head over to catholicweekend.sqpn.com, and then you'll see our live video hangout, and you can kind of play with all the people in the chat room. And thanks to Lynn for being there and taking notes for us and doing all the technical stuff in the background. We do appreciate that. And until next week, have a great one. See you here again. I don't know what else to say, but take care and God bless. A little snickering from Sarah.
That was just awkward.
I know, extremely. Oh, I didn't mean to hit that. I just put my calendar down on my keyboard.
Well, now comes the train wreck. Choo-choo.
Okay, now the picks of the week. Wait a minute, we just did that.
Did you finish the show?
Yeah,
Yeah, we're done.
I currently have 2 Steves up on my.
I noted with interest that you were all of you just letting me flounder trying to close the show. I do appreciate that.
I was laughing at you, so it's fun.
You ever do that, like when
Sorry
you're speaking and then you're like, instead of thinking about what you're saying, you're kind of thinking about
How dumb you sound?
How dumb you sound, and how people are looking at you and what you're doing.
This is Jeff. This is the story of my work life. So what I do is I'm on conference calls with customers all day, and sometimes I say something, and one of my colleagues will IM me and go, "What the heck did you just say?" And I said, "I know. I thought about it as soon as I said it. I was like, what just happened there?"
That is a very postmodern problem. It's called awareness of discourse.
Well, I definitely have this issue where sometimes I believe that I say things and they sound like such a good idea as they're coming out, and then I say, "Dear brain, how did you get there?"
What in the heck did you just say?
This happens a lot, actually, on Catholic Weekend.
Awareness of discourse.
It happens a lot on my my airline pilot guy show, where I'll just be talking about this, and I go, "Where am I going with this?"
Why is this a postmodern thing?
I don't know. It's just
And what is it called? Awareness of discourse?
awareness of discourse.
Can you please write a blog post on this, Maria? I'm very interested.
On awareness of discourse?
Yeah?
You're lying.
No, that was actually sincere, truly. No, because this is serious. I didn't know that was a thing. Like, serious. Really.
Is there a pill for that?
No. It happens. It happens a lot when you do a lot of public speaking, I think.
Oh, okay, well.
It's like you have like this outer body experience, and you become totally aware of the performance, and you can't escape it because you have to continue to perform.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep. That's
Maria does a lot of public speaking, so do you experience this often?
All the time. And it's a distraction because I want to get back into the groove of what I'm doing.
Right. Because you're still talking, but your brain is thinking about the fact that and it's so weird, and you're just not at all thinking about what you're saying. It's just words are coming out, but your brain is thinking like, "What are you doing?"
What I don't like is when you get up and you're standing at a microphone and you have something to say, and then as soon as you sit down, you're like, I don't remember a word I just said. I hope it was good.
That is exactly why, and Steph in the chat room says that she is. It's a problem for her as well because she's a solo podcaster. By the way, she does the TV Rewind podcast, and that's the reason why I go back and listen to and usually after I've already published my podcast, but just to make sure I didn't say something extremely foolish and stupid. Extremely is the key word there, because I do say a lot of foolish and dumb things, but sometimes I'll just start talking and I really don't know where I'm going with it, and then I was just listening to my last podcast, and I was trying to make a point about something about how you can follow me where I am at where is Captain Jeff. It's a separate Twitter account, so I don't have to bother people that are following any of the other Twitter accounts that I have, and see, now look, I'm not even sure where I'm going with this. No, here we go. So I played a little thing from Rockapella, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego, and the very end of it I say, Captain Jeff, and then I say Rockapella, and then I started going into Rockapella, and the fact that they have videos and CDs, and they're still doing concerts, and you know what I'm talking about, the where in the world is Carmen Sandiego, Rockapella?
Yes, I'm very aware. This was a highlight of my childhood.
I love that show.
Yes.
And anyway,
I even played the computer game.
So I'm sitting here talking about that, and then I never really made the point that, if you want to know where in the world is Captain Jeff, then follow me at Captain. Never got there. It completely went on to something else.
Okay. Well.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of getting on to something else, Maria has to go.
I do too. Lots and lots to do today.
All right.
I have to work on my book and this blog post.
Apparently, I also have to work on a blog post.
I apparently need to have a new photo challenge.
How come we come on the podcast and give ourselves homework? Has anyone noticed that this has become a thing?
What?
That we come on the podcast and give each other homework.
It's because it's where we do our planning.
It's where we.
It's like, oh yeah, I was supposed to do that, wasn't I? Okay,
she, okay. So here's my dilemma right now: is since I'm making the drink tonight, do I post it before tonight because I don't have a picture until tonight, or do I post it, edit it later with the picture.
Later.
What?
Later.
Just save the whole thing, you're saying, Steve? Or publish it and then update it?
Just make the drink now.
Let's
I
watch
can't.
you make the drink right now. Take us with you. And
I have to go to the store. I have to buy 2 of the items of the.
But what do
3.
you have to buy?
If you take it,
I'm going to tell you.
if you
What?
take it off live, I will definitely tell you all about it.
Okay. Ooh. So this is one
Hey,
of the.
don't we have something that we have to do, sir?
Oh yeah, we have a board meeting. Never mind. Okay,
It'll
so I'm
take
going to stop
30
the
seconds.
broadcast. Yeah, they're probably waiting. Thank you for reminding me, Maria.
Well, because I have a hard stop at 12 regardless of my life.
Okay, so
Bye,
here. I'm gonna
everybody.
Stop the broadcast. See ya. It was fun, and I'll check out your blog tonight to see what you made. And Steve serenades us with the harmonica.
I'm bringing the saxophone on next week.
Yeah.
All right. See ya. See ya, kids.